So Patrick, do we describe this for everybody, Rob?
What?
You
What?
describe it. You describe it. I
What?
do enough talking.
For what?
I think any car's dead in iRacing. I think it's gone.
Oh, it's definitely. I agree. It's not going to survive. But I still think we'll find opportunities to race it, just not as fruitful as before. Some of your like some of them just want to like make. What's the thing? Like that guy wanted to make like dolls out of Tyler's hair, but then there's just other guys who are just like. He did. He would say weird things to Tyler, man. Like he was a strange guy. And then like other guys would just show up out of nowhere. He's like,
I
"Oh,
just need to-
we never met you? Sure, come race this 24 with us." And then you just jump in the car and wreck us out in a lap and be like, "Okay, never see you again."
Yeah, that was
Okay, well, better luck next year, I guess.
that was the guy from.
For another epic round of Cross Series League Racing action. Slow Motion Broadcasting joins you from the Italian Palace of Speed, the Autodromo Nazionale Monza. My name is Alex Andersen. I'm joined in the commentary booth by Daniel Hall with Jonathan Grabowski in our virtual production truck. And you might notice something a little odd about the layout on the overlay screen right there, and that is because we are using the oval layout that was used as a part of this racetrack in the 40s. And this will count as, I believe, the final oval race of the Cross Series League Racing Championship. Next week it will be Monza combined, which is going to be hilarious, and I cannot wait for that event. But for now, we are at the Monza right-turning oval. We're seeing Justin Barrera take to the track already, and this place will drive like a super speedway. It's going to be full throttle around for basically any car. So we'll see a lot of pack racing here tonight, and we'll see a lot of different lanes that drivers will choose, because Daniel, this track, as surprising as it seems, has variable banking, which means that the track is higher banked towards the outside wall, which is going to lead to some pretty interesting line choices.
Yeah, that's going to be a big consideration these drivers are going to have. You carry more speed at the top. You maybe go down low, make the track a little shorter. But these guys have had a lot of experience driving super speedway type races in these cars. You've had Daytona, obviously, to kind of kick off the season, and then Charlotte even was a super speedway type race, pack racing, and the draft. And this track presents the culmination of what they've learned from those, because this is a unique challenge. You mentioned the variable banking, but also very, very bumpy. So we'll see who can handle the bumps and the ruts, and we'll have an action-packed race here tonight.
Yes, it is extremely bumpy, and the wrecks at this place, I tell you, they are going to be absolutely horrendous, with just a simple guardrail and a lot of very big bumps, and especially down that back straightaway, with all of the bumps down the inside, lining the inside and outside portions of the racetrack. It is going to be, the wrecks here are going to be spectacular. So expect a lot tonight, and expect a lot of different lane choices. Speaking of which, here is an interesting run. There was an interesting one from Ray Lombardi, choosing to drive on the lower banked, below the yellow line portion of the racetrack. Meanwhile, everybody, like we're seeing Chance Aarons, is taking that top line above that yellow line to try and get more speed off the bottom. And it looks like that line worked for Ray Lombardi, who, if I'm not mistaken, currently on provisional pole. Yes, he is, by about 900ths of a second with a 59.227. So pretty interesting strategy for qualifying for him.
Yeah, qualifying trim, we'll see him be able to go flat out pretty much anywhere in these corners. So not surprising, really, to see him down there. But once they get going in a pack and tires start to wear out, fuel starts to burn off, it might get a little sketchier down there. So I'd be surprised if we saw a lot of that during the race, but worked out really well for Ray in qualifying. So now we're looking at Tim Cox down the backstretch.
Yeah, and that could be a bit of a last-ditch move in the final closing laps of this race for drivers. If they want to try and make moves at the end, they could try and use that apron. If they want to just try and make up some time, try and get to the apron, get around those lead cars, get themselves the lead. Here's Adam Thompson going for another lap. It'll put him in 4th place with a 59.29. It looks like he's actually tied for his lap with Josh Clog. No, he beat Josh Clog by just about 6 thousandths of a second, but so far, Ray Lombardi ahead by 500ths of a second, the Spec 5 World Tour driver, as I and probably a couple of people watching the stream know him as, currently showing that he knows what he's doing on these ovals and in these radicals, about 500ths ahead of Jimmy Howard, which is a pretty big margin for a super speedway style race.
Yeah, that's a pretty big gap there. We saw about half a tenth of a second separating the top 4 in practice times, and having a decent gap like that in qualifying is pretty impressive. So we get a chance to look at our new driver, Chance Aarons, to the series. I believe this is his first race with us tonight.
I think I'm gonna have to go ahead and give you a quick little note to that off of my own judgment. So we're gonna have a little bit of a conflict here because I am fairly certain that I've seen Chance Aaron. In my time commentating this series, I have seen Chance Aarons take to the track in search of a win in this series before tonight. So we'll see how good he does with just about 10 seconds left in qualifying. So it looks like this will be your field for tonight, unless Chance Aarons can get it off a turn 4 quickly and down to the line. He might get there, actually. So we'll have to see what he does. I think that's the line right there. So I think he might have gotten there if I look on my iRacing timing tower. No, it does not look like he got there, so he's going to be stuck in about 8th place if I'm not mistaken. But if we can pull it up, this should be your starting grid for tonight. We can get that up. Cars taken to the grid. So Ray Lombardi, the Team Esport Racer Spec 5 World Tour driver, as we know him best, takes pole by just about 400ths of a second over Jimmy Howlett. Then it's Bobby Ross in 3rd, Adam Thompson in 4th, Josh Clog in 5th, Kevin Irwin in 6th, Tim Cox in 7th, and Justin Barrera is actually in 9th. Chance Aarons is in 8th, but the overlays are having a little bit of fun right now before we get this race started. So cars on the track not rolling just yet, but 9 cars to take to the track for 30 laps tonight. And there's quite a lot that could happen here tonight, especially with the pit strategy that is going to take place. And one thing that I do want to mention, we've seen primarily in a lot of Cross Series League Racing oval races, especially of the pack racing style, where these drivers tend to sit in line single file, not really making any moves because you can't really get momentum on the outside. This is one track where I expect that to not be the case because of the variable banking that this track for some reason has. I'm not sure why they built it like this in the 40s, but this track does have variable banking, and I think that that's going to make pretty much any line viable to use, because you can go below that yellow line, it's pretty flat, and you might lose a lot of speed down the straights, but you'll have a great mid-corner speed. You can go just above that yellow line and have just all-around good speed through the center of the corner and down the straights, or you can go up to that top line right up against the guardrail where you might lose a little bit of time in the corners, but you'll get a great run down the straightaway. So it'll be interesting to see what these drivers do as they start to head off the grid.
Yeah, we could definitely see some better runs than we've had, and they definitely don't make they don't make tracks like they used to with the variable banking, and basically a test track, I believe, for the end of its life. They don't really run on it anymore, but you see the cars roll off for their pace lap. And I do stand corrected. It is his season debut, Chance Aarons. That was my bad.
That's all good. But yeah, it was used as a test track mainly for the end of its life. I believe actually some world track speed records were made at this track, if I'm not mistaken. Not land speed; those are usually going to be on stuff like the Utah Salt Flats over here in the United States. But for track speeds, I believe that the Monza Oval was used due to its high banking and long straightaways, which makes quite a bit of sense. But We'll be here for 30 laps using it once again. It'll be back to its racing glory. As now, if you look at any pictures of it from nowadays, there's usually a lot of weeds growing on it. Nobody really takes care of it anymore. And kind of sucks because it really is a unique track. And with a lot of safety upgrades, I think it could be used for maybe a NASCAR exhibition race or something of the sort.
That would be interesting for sure to see NASCARs on these high banks and flat straightaways and over in Italy. So that would be interesting, but that might be a pipe dream, unfortunately. Just need to state the tracks. We'll see how these radicals handle in the virtual world.
Yeah, definitely. But honestly, with some major infrastructure upgrades, some maybe a bit of a repave there. NASCAR has gone international before. They have brought the Cup Series to the Suzuka International Racing Course and Twin Ring Motegi for some exhibition races, but never into the European region. So maybe with some major infrastructure upgrades, there could be a bit of a future left for this track. For now, though, we're here in the virtual world, like you mentioned, Daniel, with some radicals, and we are ready to go racing for 30 laps here tonight as the field rounds turn number 4. The iRacing safety car in just a moment. We'll dive into the safety of the pit lane. Now it is all up to the drivers as they await the green flag here from Monza. It's a long run down this straightaway, but now the green flag is out and we are racing from Monza 10. There's already a massive wreck at the back. Justin Barrera and Tim Cox get into it. That's going to bring a yellow out, and that didn't take long. Josh Clark sends somebody around as well. I'm not sure who he tagged, but already I'm pretty sure we were rolling for less than 5 seconds, and already the caution is out. The pace car's drifting through the oval corners. That's interesting. You can see tire streaks from it. That's pretty cool. Here's a replay of what just happened. I think Justin Barrera tried to get a jump on the field. Yeah, that definitely looks like what happened. He tried to get a jump on the field, ended up running into Tim Cox, but then there was another car that I saw spinning in front of him. It looked like Jake Ham. If I'm not, no, it wasn't. It wasn't Jake. Oh, actually, yeah. It looked like Jake Ham's car, but this is Ray Lombardi just getting pushed and pushed by Bobby Ross and Josh Clogg, and eventually he gets tagged and he just goes around. So I'm not sure what was slowing him down so much, but he just didn't go on that restart.
Yeah, that was strange. He looks like he missed a shift, or maybe even had some equipment errors. Kind of drifted over a little bit and didn't get up to speed. So let's see what happens. Those worked out, fixed, and get back up on the front road and restart this race.
And we have gotten confirmed information that this race, there is no damage due to the bump drafting of these cars. So pretty much, if you get any sort of damage, you can just rejoin the field and continue on like nothing happened. So no worries for those drivers, and I would hope that we could end up changing it to 1 to green at the line, because I know that is an iRacing command, or if you type !P1 into the chat, you can shorten the yellow to just about a lap, but it looks like we're going to get a full yellow here, so a bit of time for these drivers to recollect themselves after what happened on that initial start.
Yeah, now it's time for everybody to take a breath. Saw what happened in the initial start. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, and they just all calm down, get a couple laps in, and then start dicing it up really in earnest.
Yeah, and while we are under yellow, this is a good time to mention that, like every Cross Series League racing event that is on the asphalt, these drivers will have to make at least one pit stop. Looks like Jimmy Howard's dirt tracking it there, and he's going to go around. He's going to collect Adam Thompson, and he's upside down, and that is not something I expected to see tonight, but I'm honestly not surprised. He's trying to get flipped back over. People are trying to help him. There you go. He's back on his wheels. That I don't even really know what to say. I was gonna talk about the pit stops, but then that happened, and now I'm shocked.
I'm flabbergasted too, Alex. I've not seen that happen this league. Is he on the grass? Maybe, yeah. He was running low, got on the grass. They weren't up to speed very long to cool their tires, but that almost cost him big time if he didn't have some help from some other drivers to get him flip back over. It's one thing to kind of lose your spot in line for wrecking. It's another thing to have to tow, and probably had a 3-minute tow at least to get back to the pits at a track this large. That could have really cost him.
Yeah, it looks like iRacing is going to let him get his spot back, so he will not lose any position. It looks like that was just a little bit of fun going on here. There's no damage required, so none of the... I mean, understand, it was a pretty dumb incident. And I mean, I don't mean that in any bad way. I mean, like, that was just completely unnecessary, but, I don't know. I just feel like the admins, they can't really be too mad at that because eventually he was able to get flipped back on his wheels. The field is fine. Everybody's back with each other. Nobody has damage. So don't think it really is that much or that big of a deal. It's just some entertainment for us for the time being as they make one final pace lap before we will go back racing from the Monza Oval.
Yeah, and we saw a little bit of interesting strategy maybe already. Justin Barrera and Bobby Ross ducked into the pits right as they crossed the line that time. They'll be able to get back out and rejoin the field, but I don't know if this is a fuel strategy call, maybe thinking there's going to be a lot of cautions and they'll be able to make it the rest of the way. That'd be very difficult to do with a limited tank size on this, but I'm thinking it's maybe just to get behind the pack, let these leaders kind of settle things out and hope to avoid any chaos that might happen in front of them.
Yeah, definitely is. Just what we're going to be looking for is just to see what these drivers end up doing when the green flag comes back out and they're actually able to race each other, because that green flag run lasted give or take maybe 3 seconds. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do when they're given the chance to actually race each other. It looks like a single file restart, so I'm not sure if maybe Adam has changed something to make it a single file restart, or they've unanimously agreed after the initial start that let's just have a single file restart and try not to have any shenanigans occur on the front straightaway. But as they head through turns 3 and 4, the field hopefully has had a chance to recuperate, take a step back, and hopefully prepare themselves for the first restart of the night, as the iRacing safety car is going to take a hard right turn into the pit lane. Once again, all up to the drivers as they await the green flag. It's a pretty long wait to the green flag, so we'll have to see how long it takes them to get down the front straightaways. Everybody just biding their time, single file. The green flag is now out. We're racing once again at Monza, and already we have beat the previous green flag record tonight. Everybody's still single file for the most part. Adam Thompson already getting up to Jimmy Howett and pushing him. Jimmy is going to elect to run under the yellow line. Adam looked to the outside, but then Jimmy pulled back up before he could get there as we watch them come over that bridge, and it looks like 2 wide behind them, and that is already losing them time, and it looks like a 4-car breakaway at the moment. Side by side, Chance Aaron's on the outside of Josh Clogg and Ray Lombardi, or not Josh Clogg, just on the outside of Ray Lombardi, trying to get something done.
Yeah, they moved him kind of up out of the way. It looked like those 4 cars got away, and he was not keeping up, so that kind of cost us backpack. It's a 4-car breakaway and then 5 cars kind of trailing a side-by-side back. That's really going to cost them. They need to get single file and back, gaining some momentum to get back up to the lead pack.
Yeah, especially with Justin Barrera getting Tim Conte a lot of shoves now on the bottom, as they're going to choose to run below the yellow line. They're going to dip their tires above the yellow line, and now they're going to run solidly above that yellow line. So still side by side between Bobby Ross and Ray Lombardi, but for the most part it's a single file pack, and I reckon if they do get single file, they could start to make up some ground on the leaders. 5 cars are definitely going to have a better draft run than 2, but still these drivers back here are still going for it, still trying to race each other at the moment. So now they've gotten themselves single file, and now it's all down to see whether they can make up that about 1.2 second gap back to the leaders now.
Yeah, it looks like this back group is not as comfortable running and pushing the car in front of them as the lead pack is. The lead pack is really tucked up behind each other and staying single file for the most part. And maybe we might see this backpack kind of straighten themselves out and looks like it's separated a little bit. But we'll look back at the lead pack. And, back to the middle pack. As we see Tim Cox, Justin Barrera, and Ray Lombardi breaking away from others.
Bobby Ross and Chance Aaron starting to fall back from this little pack here. And it looks like with the shoves Justin Barrera is giving to Tim Cox, they are starting to slowly regain their time. And I reckon if they can just get the gap under a tenth or two more, they will be within draft range. And Justin Barrera is going to have to be as aggressive. Looking for clean air to cool down the engine is Justin Barrera, as he's just all over the back bumper. Tim Cox just giving him massive shoves down these straights, and that can really overheat the engine. So whenever you see a car peak out of line like that, but they don't really try and make a move with it, that's just them trying to cool the engine down, which Adam Thompson might have to do with how much he's all over the rear bumper of Jimmy Howard right now.
Yeah, these engines might run a little hotter, but with damage turned off, I don't believe they can actually blow up. So that's
I forgot
one
about that.
thing to think about. Maybe coming off of them and just not as don't feel like they can push as well in the corners. Makes the cars a little more upset, and if you hit them in the wrong spot, you can really cause some major issues. So that's one thing that these drivers might be doing is peeking to the outside just to lay off the bumper so there's not any unnecessary contact.
On board with Kevin Irwin running P3. This driver has managed a couple podiums in the past in this series, so definitely a strong driver in the series. I would look for maybe somebody like him who we haven't seen up front typically so far this season to maybe try and get their first crown this season, maybe try and steal a win from some of the usual front runners. And I would say Jimmy Howard's trying to do just that, as normally some of the fastest drivers you see, that being Justin Barrera and Josh Hahn, just currently struggling to stay up front. Bobby Ross as well. He's usually up front even at the plate-style racetracks, but so far he's about 3.5 seconds back from the leaders, just trying to catch up with Chance Aronson. Soon Ray Lombardi will join him as he has lost connection with the front pack.
Yeah, they've fallen off quite a bit, as we've seen Tim Cox and Justin Barrera really run down this group. They are now part of this lead battle. And you mentioned Kevin Irwin. This race is a wild card race for sure, and he could definitely squeak in a win. So you see two-wide battle by Tim Cox on making a move on Josh Clogg. Not going to be able to pull it off down this straightaway, but we'll see what they got going into turn one.
Yeah, it looks like Tim going to try and run below the double yellow line to try and get some momentum to the center of the corner. He almost hits Kevin Irwin. They're going to get to the inside of Josh Clogg, but no further than that so far. As Justin Barrera has gotten Tim Cox side by side with Josh Clogg down the back straightaway, but they have no help in front of them, and that's just going to cause them to lose all that time. And there goes that run, and that's pretty much what we've been seeing for most plate races with these radicals in this series so far, or at least plate style races like Daytona and Charlotte. Some drivers can get a run to the inside or the outside, but they just end up losing momentum. They just can't get the move done, whether it be in the corners or the straightaway. So just really nothing that Tim Cox and Justin Barrera can do down here on the bottom unless they get some help from one of those cars pulling down if they want to regain the lead. But oh, bit squirrely back there. Is Ray Lombardi almost just got turned by Bobby Ross.
Yeah, big moment there for them. But we look back to this lead battle. That entry is deceptively narrow. It looks really wide as you're watching, but that's one of the things that these drivers really have to be concerned about is getting into this corner. They really don't want to squeeze your competitors and give them a little bit of gap so that they're not risking contact, but that kind of hurts you when you're trying to make a move. So we'll see if that aggression ramps up, maybe as Tim Cox and Justin Barrera making some headroom down the bottom line.
Yeah, they are starting to get a bit of momentum down there. Still nobody in the outside line electing to join them. Still just the two of them, as they're going to work the inside in turn 4 now, trying to get something done on the bottom of the racetrack. It looks like no fruit so far, as they're immediately going to just start to fall back down this front straightaway, but they're still going to definitely try here on the inside as they head into turn number 1.
Yeah, they fall back in line as they go through 1 and 2. They run a little bit higher now. I wonder if that's some tire wear. The tires aren't quite as grippy as they were to start this race. They run a little bit higher to kind of keep up the momentum and not have to let off at all.
Yeah, as it looks like Tim Cox now trying to get something done to the inside. Josh Claw going to work with him as well. It's now a 3-car effort on the bottom trying to get around the leaders as Josh Claw has joined the fight to try and get that group of 3 cars up to the lead of this race so far. Howitt still getting pushed by Thompson up there. Looking on board with Josh Clogger, trying to force Kevin Irwin out of line now down the front straightaway. Josh Clogger a little sideways. Tim Cox has rejoined the outside line as it's back down to a 2-car effort as Josh Clogg and Kevin Irwin almost contact down the front straightaway, but they are starting to gain some ground.
Yeah, Josh Clogg saw the headroom that they were able to make, and going 3 wide, but doesn't look like any move going around to the outside. Josh Clogg, big contact there with Jimmy. And they're wrecking Justin Barrera, Josh Clogg, Kevin, basically that whole lead pack except for Adam Thompson.
Wow, that is a massive, massive wreck. I think every car in the field was involved in that one. That was gigantic. I'm not sure exactly where that started, but like you said, Daniel, Adam Thompson, the only car to get away scot-free. Everybody else had a little bit of trouble now as it looked like that didn't get us a good angle of how it started, but several cars upside down. One of them turned into a helicopter. There's as Adam Thompson turned Jimmy Howard just there. Looks like Justin Barrera turned Josh Clogg up into Kevin Irwin and Tim Cox, and then after the wreck, Adam Thompson completely turned Jimmy Howard, and that's turned the number 37 car into a helicopter, as I think Adam Thompson might be wanted for manslaughter after that one.
Yeah, that was a little brutal, and seemed to be after the fact. They all were crashing behind him, and then he snuck in a contact or 2 up front. But see some of the cars join back up. Tim Cox back rolling. Is that Jimmy Howett back rolling? I think Kevin Irwin got stranded upside down, so he had to take the tow back to the pits. That's going to cost him. He was having a great run up in the top 3.
Yeah, he was having a really good race, and he's going to have to tow back to the pits, and because it's under yellow, that's going to be an easily 3 or 4 minute tow as we're on the roll bar. There's nothing he can do in this situation, just praying the car lands on its wheels, and in that instance, it does not.
Yeah, we'll get an onboard shot of him. Definitely see the context starting to get racy, and then just out of nowhere kind of gets hit in the side by Josh Clogg, and not much you can do at that point where the whatever the other drivers around you are doing kind of can mess your day up. So we just saw.
Yeah, definitely is just really unfortunate for him, as it looks like everybody going to take advantage of the yellow and come down into the pit lane, presumably for fuel. So I think this should take them to the end. So I don't believe these drivers will have to just really make any more pit stops unless they do want tires in a late race yellow, but I don't think it would be worth it, as they could just get some tires here. You can see Jimmy Howard taking fronts there, and especially the drivers that spun around in that wreck, I would expect them to take tires as well, as spinning around can really wear the tires and get them to be really unstable, especially on a bumpy track like this. So no surprise to me to see Jimmy Howard taking tires, especially with how much he wrecked there, as Adam Thompson turned him up into the outside guardrail, and he just spun and spun and spun, never got airborne, just spun a lot on his tires, so no surprise to me that he's changing.
Yeah, it looks like he might be the only one that took tires. Tim Cox was also in the pits for a little bit longer, so he might have also got tires as well, but didn't look like some of the other drivers took tires. We'll see if that helps in the short term. Don't need to get tire heat back in it and anything like that, but might benefit Jimmy Howard kind of near the end of the race. He's got fresher rubber than everybody else.
Yeah, and it looks like that was the first pit stop for pretty much everybody in the field except Bobby Ross and Justin Barrera, who pitted during that first yellow, maybe for tires or fuel. I'm still not sure what it was for, as Bobby Ross had a 21-second stop. However, Ray Lombardi's, if I'm not mistaken, he was the other car to pit, only about 7 seconds. So, interesting to see. Other drivers in the pits early, and Bobby Ross, once again, we've seen him perform really well on ovals in the past, and currently he's sitting in P2 right now in a pretty decent position, as I believe as they come out of turn number 4, they'll collect the 1 to go signal from the iRacing officials. Still waiting on Kevin Irwin to get out of the pits, as he unfortunately landed on his roof. He was having a great showing tonight, but just unfortunately, it looks like he's out of the pits now, just has not gotten any sort of luck to go his way. He's out of the pits now. He's only 1 lap down, so, and it looks like, if I'm looking at the iRacing little things that it gives, or the little iRacing text chat, it looks like Adam Thompson has given Kevin Irwin a wave around, so he will be able to come around the pace car and get his lap back, which is pretty generous of the admins, and I would say pretty understanding as well, as that wreck really was not his fault. He was just kind of an innocent bystander and just got killed.
Yeah, that's going to be good for him. Get a chance to get back into this race. You don't really want to have that incident ruin someone's race, especially at a track like this where it's kind of a crapshoot on who might end up upside down in any given wreck. So great to see that. And I think Bobby Ross was the big beneficiary of this caution. He was in that backpack kind of trailing all the leaders, and he's going to get a chance to be in that lead pack now, getting up into second in that pit cycle.
Yeah, definitely. Himself and Chance Aaron's got a big break with that yellow, as well as Ray Lombardi, who was back there with them as well. So now they will get another shot to be up with the lead pack, and I think I'm not sure, but I think Kevin Irwin should have enough time to catch up to the lead cars. We'll see, as it looks like they are dangerously close to turn 3, so he's passing them now using his wave around, but looks like those drivers heading into the banked oval, so I'm not sure if Kevin Irwin is going to have enough time to catch up to the field before they go green, but still, even if he doesn't catch up all the way, it's still very good for him. It's still very good for him that he's able to get his lap back, as he's not going to have to rely on a lucky dog position or something like that when the yellow does, or if there is another yellow in this race, which so far during that run, I'm not sure if there will be. It's been surprisingly clean throughout the field, except that one little instance there in turn 2. But off of turn 4 they come. The iRacing safety car going to make its 3rd trip to the pit lane now, as they head down the front straightaway and await the green flag. Back 2 by 2 for this restart. We'll see how it goes. As the green flag is out, we're racing once again from Monza. Drivers all starting to defect to the inside lane. Bobby Ross and Chance Aaron's going to be stuck on the outside line as they head into turn number 1. Chance Aaron's going to get single file at the back of the pack now, as it looks like Kevin Irwin was not able to make it up to the field. Bobby Ross going to be stuck up on the outside lane. It looks like he is going to have to defect to behind Josh Clogg now, as Justin Barrera not close enough to really be a threat. There goes Bobby Ross behind Josh Clogg now as they head back down the back straightaway.
Yeah, he just kind of got hung out there on the outside and had to find a gap where he could, and that's going to cost him a spot, or a few spots actually, when he restarted second and now back to 5th. So a little disappointing on that, but he's still in this lead pack, and there's still quite a bit of race to go.
Yeah, I think as long as you're in the main pack, you still have a shot at the win, no matter where you are when you take the white flag, because anything could happen on that last lap, especially with that how big of a wreck we saw that caused that previous yellow. We could see an even bigger wreck on the white flag. And honestly, I would be pretty entertained. I think it would be funny if there was like a wreck that took everybody out, and it was a wreck to see, and it was a race to see who could start their car the fastest and get back out onto the track and get the line first. But I think with the racing we've seen tonight, it's been pretty respectful throughout the field, so I don't think it will come down to that. But we do have 2 green-white checkers if we need them here tonight. So 14 laps to go, 13 at the line. Adam Thompson leads Tim Cox, and looks like no moves yet. Justin Barrera, the only car poking the outside line, but so far everybody's single file throughout the field, just trying to log some laps at this point.
Yeah, he's the only one really trying to make anything happen. but it seems like this race is kind of settled in. They realize that there's still 13 laps to go as they cross the line, and they're and it looks like they're just going to settle in as the lights come on as we head into nighttime at this track.
Yeah, and it looks like Justin Barrera now experimenting with the very inside of the racetrack. He'll get a nice run in the center of the corner, but he will not get the run he needs down the back straightaway to try and make a move to get to the front of this lead pack now. As it looks like, yeah, the lights definitely have turned on for these cars, so they head towards the camera. You might see a little bit of headlight flash. Yeah, we do. As they head it down the back straightaway and into turn number 3, Justin Barrera, he's pulled up alongside Josh Clogas. Didn't lose too much ground down the back straightaway, but still he's going to need some help if he wants any shot at getting up to the leaders.
Yeah, really, even with the progressive banking and the ability to run a lower line than the cars you're trying to pass, you still need some help. And it doesn't look like Bobby Ross is too keen to give him that. He kind of closed the door and prevented Justin Barrera from getting back up into line. So that might see Bobby Ross try to make a move if he wasn't really helping anybody out there.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now he's still trying it to the inside. He's still alongside, or he's still even with Josh Clog as they head down the back straightaway, but now it doesn't. I mean, it looks like he's using that side draft pretty well to his advantage, which is probably slowing Josh Clog down a little bit and allowing Justin Barrera to stay alongside him. But the only car down on that apron, the only car looking to make a move at this current moment, Ray Lombardi peeked the inside there, didn't go for it. Oh no, that's going to take them both out as Josh Clog, he came down on them when he wasn't clear, and it looks like that is going to bring out a yellow. Justin Barrera barely saves the car before it hits anything, but that will bring out the third caution of the night, and that is going to be a big break for Kevin Irwin, who is currently 40 seconds back, but now officially on the lead lap and with the lead pack.
Yeah, big break for Kevin Irwin, but we did see these two drivers have a little bit of history last week, so let's see what happens here as you're going through 3 and 4. Justin Barrera there on the inside. Josh Clark, he has to check up a little bit and just comes down a little bit, but Barrera couldn't keep it straight. So, yeah, looks like just kind of a racing deal with that. So,
yeah. So, yeah, it looked like Josh Clog he was trying, it looked like, I don't think he meant to do that. He didn't mean to do that at all, pretty
no.
much. I think he was checking up for the car in front of him, and he had to turn it down the racetrack, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see exactly what happened here on his roll bar cam, as it looks like when he turns down the racetrack, there was a little bit of a checkup, but not enough to make him turn down to the inside. So I think he might have wanted to join Justin Barrera on the inside line, but just turned down at the wrong time and he wasn't clear and ended up spinning himself and Justin Barrera. But they still, I believe when they restart, will have 8 or 9 laps to go. So they still have a bit of time if they want to catch back, or if they want to try and get back to the front of this pack. So they will still have a little bit of time.
Yeah, not too hurt on that. They're still 6th and 7th showing up on the timing board, so they're a little bit farther back than they were. Looks like they let Ray Lombardi by, but they'll still be in contention here because we see a couple cars dip into the pits. That was Justin Barrera and Kevin Irwin. Kevin Irwin probably needed fuel if he was trying to get back out there after his tow, so this might be his pit to make sure he's good till the end on fuel. Maybe Justin Barrera also getting tires at this juncture if he maybe damaged them by that spin.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, with damage being off, I mean, really, it's not going to affect either of them. But Justin Barrera, he could have, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I thought he did pit. I could be wrong. So if he did pit, he probably wanted to just take some tires there and get the car, just make sure the car was just handled well, because after a spin like that, the tires aren't really going to enjoy what you've put them through, and they're going to be a little warm, and they might not have as much grip as they used to, and it'll make the car pretty unstable, especially around a bumpy track like this. But it looks like they have received the 1-to-go signal at the line, so we will return to racing at the end of this lap. We're only on the 3rd caution here tonight out of 30 laps. We've run, I believe, 20 complete laps so far. When they get to the line, this will be the 21st complete lap. So we'll see if they can go green to the end here. I think they have it in them. They just need to keep it calm, but especially as they get to the end of the race, I think that'll be harder for some of these drivers.
Yeah, we'll see when they make a move. If it's kind of earlier, and if it causes a yellow before the white flag comes out, it could extend the race. But after the white flag comes out, I'm pretty sure it ends the race. So that's one thing these drivers need to keep in mind as we head toward the green flag.
And I can confirm your assumption. When they do reach the white flag, no matter what happens, it's the end of the race. So if a yellow comes out or if they get back to the line, if they take the white flag, the race is official. But if they receive a yellow before the white flag, we will have to use a green-white checker. But the iRacing safety car gonna pull into the pit lane for the 4th time tonight, and the field gonna await the green flag for the 4th time tonight. Now as they head down the front straightaway, Adam Thompson, Tim Cox on the front row, and they're going. The green flag is out, and we are once again racing from Monza now. Is Adam Thompson gonna take the lead into turn 1? Cars already starting to affect the inside line. Justin Barrera, one of them, as well as a bunch of other cars that started on the outside lane. Ray Lombardi might have been one of them as well, but it looks like Jimmy Howard is going to try and stick to the outside and maybe try and get something done. He'll pull back in line behind Adam Thompson, and now it's going to be Tim Cox stuck on the outside. He was started on outside pole for that restart. He's going to be stuck up top. Justin Barrera, though, is going to come to the rescue and try and push him down this front straightaway. Bobby Ross is leading a charge on the inside with Josh Clogg now. 3 wide, I think, in this pack, as these drivers are going to have to use the apron if they want to give the rest of the field room. Still 2 wide. Tim Cox peeking to the outside there. Can't get something done. 3 versus 4 in this pack as Ray Lombardi, Josh Clogg, and Bobby Ross are trying to take the fight to the rest of the field.
Yeah, they're trying to get that inside to work. They're lined up pretty well, it looks like. So we'll see if they can use their momentum and get up alongside Adam Thompson as they kind of step out, but they're single file back up into the corner.
Yeah, and I think that inside line is definitely a little bit more organized. You can see the run they get through the center of the corner as Bobby Ross can get his nose out in front for the first time tonight. Josh Clogg is helping him the whole way down the back straightaway now. Is that outside line going to use the run they get down this back straightaway to their advantage? Ray Lombardi into the grass a little bit, and he needs to get it out of there, and he will. But that definitely is going to hurt this inside line a little bit and their efforts to take the lead. You can see Chance Aarons and Kevin Irwin spectating from a little bit further on back now as Bobby Ross making up some solid ground for this inside line.
Yeah, this is the best the inside lines looked all race. This is the first real bout of double file racing we've seen. That inside lane's starting to fall back just a little bit this lap. They were ahead earlier, but it looks like they're not going to be able to kind of regenerate that run enough to get challenging for the lead down the backstretch.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going to have to stall their fight there as Chance Aarons and Kevin Irwin have joined the conversation now as they have caught back up the field after being about 8 tenths back to the leaders. So Josh Clogg, so actually they're 3 wide a little bit now as Justin Barrera is still trying to make a move to the outside. He doesn't have any help at the moment. And that's a big crash back there. That is certainly going to be a yellow as Chance Aarons. So far, no yellows. It looks like it was just 1 car, so that's going to be admin discretion. But that was a major hit, and I reckon Chance Aarons might need an EMT over there ASAP, as that was a massive hit to the outside retaining wall. And it looks like it won't be a yellow, but that was a massive hit. I think he got tagged by Kevin Irwin and got sent up into the outside wall. Yeah, there it is. He got clear of Kevin Irwin and came back across Kevin's nose, sent Kevin off track, and Chance Aarons takes a wild ride. They aren't going to throw a yellow. They're going to try and get back. They're going to try and go the way, but that is going to take Kevin Irwin and Chance Aarons both out of this race just as quickly as they caught up to the field.
Yeah, Aarons had the toe, so he's all but out of this. Irwin's falling back a little bit, so without a caution, he's out of it too. We see Bobby Ross now using the inside lane. Oh, Josh Clogg, a little contact there with Adam Thompson. We'll see if that outside lane can muster a run to get back ahead.
Oh, Tim Cox upside down. That's a wild ride.
And he's still flipping.
Yeah, and that
Where he ends up, and that brings out a yellow.
Yeah, that is going to be a yellow, and that will give Chance Aarons another opportunity. But as Tim waits for the damage to get fixed, that was another wild ride. I'm not sure what happened to him. Oh, it looks like he got hit, and then he just kept on flipping. That's going to make me a little dizzy as he just keeps going and going and going, finally landing back on his wheels, and he's able to keep going. Chance Aarons still stuck in the pit lane, and I think this will give us a green-white checkered scenario. So I think this portion of racing here at the end is going to be the most intense portion of racing we will see all night. I think with what they did for Kevin Irwin, I think they might do the same for Chance Aarons there once Chance gets out of the pits, because that definitely just extended his toe. As Chance probably had maybe a 1 minute and 30-second, 2-minute toe, and that probably just threw it up to 3 minutes once the yellow came out. So Chance is going to have to wait a while before he can get back out onto the racetrack, and I reckon the admin's probably going to let him get his laps back just like they did for Kevin Irwin.
Yeah, I would expect him to get a wave around, but we have a new leader now, Bobby Ross. He was able to track Josh Clogg, and they both got by Adam Thompson before the yellow came out. So new leaders up at the front of this pack, and we'll see if that changes the dynamic a little bit coming into the last few laps of this race.
Yeah, so it looks like, Chance still stuck in the pit lane, so I think we will have a full caution period as they await Chance Aarons to get back out onto the racetrack. Jimmy Howard, he considered going into the pit lane, but not wanting to give up that track position, which honestly that's probably the most important thing at the moment is track position. Bobby Ross in the best possible spot at the moment, because if these cars do what they've been doing and affect the inside line at the start or on the restart, Bobby Ross is going to be in the best spot there with his track position with 2 to go, and it's going to be up to the drivers towards the rear of the field to try and make a charge on the inside like Bobby Ross had to do with Josh Clogg. And actually those drivers are both 1-2 now, but no, they will receive the 1 to green signal, so they aren't going to wait for a Chance Aarons. So this will give us 3 laps of racing to the checkered flag, and after 30 laps, or after looks like 27 laps of racing action, it's all going to come down to this final restart.
Yeah, this is a big moment for these drivers. Their fates might be determined on this restart if we don't have another wreck, or if a wreck happens after the white flag. So you could see some aggression here as they jockey for position.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's going to get very aggressive at the front, or pretty much all throughout this field. I'm hoping that we can not use any green-white check-ins so we can get this race done. Because I think if they can keep it green, it would be a very, or not really fitting end to this race, but just a very intense and really entertaining way to end this race, especially with 3 laps of racing action. And so I'm looking to see if they can get this race completely finished, as they're going to give the pace cars some room heading through 3 and 4.
Yeah, leaders lagging back a little bit, maybe trying to play some restart games and get a little bit better of a jump. So we'll see what happens when they take the green this time by.
Yeah, so as they head through turn number 4, they've given the pace car a lot of room now. Bobby Ross, Josh Clogg, Adam Thompson, Jimmy Howard still up there. Ray Lombardi, the Spec 5 World Tour driver, in the mix as well. The Irising safety car going to dive back below the yellow line, 70 miles an hour as they await the green flag. And it's going to be a long period for these front-running drivers. Bobby Ross gets onto the gas early. Josh Clogg almost spins Adam Thompson there, as Josh really wanted to get to the inside but couldn't get clear of that number 244 machine. Down into turn number 1 on 3 laps to go. Josh Clogg not giving Adam Thompson... I think I accidentally muted my microphone, but Adam Thompson not giving any room to Josh Clogg, or Josh Clogg not giving any room to Adam Thompson. At the moment, they're 3 wide out of turn number 2, as everybody jostling for position, trying to get to the front.
Yeah, 3 wide down the backstretch. They'll have to sort it out before they get into turn 3. As we see more contact, Ray Lombardi.
And they're around. That's going to be a big wreck.
Yeah,
Ray
he's
Lombardi
already back in the pits. Still
Yeah.
green at the moment.
That's
Kevin Irwin
not
embedded
ideal.
Yep, and that brings out the yellow.
That's not ideal, so we will use the first of two green-white checkers as Kevin Irwin impaled himself on a retaining wall there. We'll see what happens. I think Josh Conti was trying to get back in line and just kept pushing Ray Lombardi until Ray ran out of room there. Yeah, that's exactly what happened, and then Ray had nowhere to go, came back out onto the track. Justin Barrera gets a piece of that as well, and Ray Lombardi ended up flying out of the track, got teleported back to the pit lane. I want to see what happened to Kevin Irwin to get him stuck in the pit barrier. Justin Barrera has to tow as well, so looks like yeah, we'll see when Josh turns down on Ray Lombardi. There it is, and Ray not able to save it, turns back up the track, and looks like he just got stuck in the catch fence and then ended up getting stuck in the barrier. And I see headlights going for a wild ride there, and I want to say that's Justin Barrera, so I also want to see what happened to him because it looks like he went for a wild ride.
Yeah, that was just chaos. But we'll take a look at Justin Barrera now. He sees Josh Clog and Ray Lombardi side by side, making that contact.
Oh.
Yeah, Ray just kind of came up into him and he went flipping wildly.
Yeah, he took a little bit of a tumble there. And with 3 cars having to tow for that, I think they might try and extend this caution to let everybody get back out of the pits. I think Chance Aarons has given up at this point because he would have been out of the pits well before now. So they may wait for Ray Lombardi, Kevin Irwin, and Justin Barrera, or we're going to have a 5-car race for the lead, and Josh Claw going to head into the pits. He might have underfueled that car just a little bit, trying to get some track position as he's going to head into his pit stall. We'll see if he takes tires or not, as he's going to come to a stop, and judging if the front end gets off the ground here. No, it looks like it's just a fuel stop. Is we don't really have a good angle so far. Here we go, and it looks like, yeah, just a fuel stop, as the front, as neither the front nor the rear end got lifted up, giving us the assumption that he was taking tires. So it looks like we'll have a full yellow here as Josh Clog comes up to rejoin the field, and we await Ray Lombardi, Kevin Irwin, and Justin Barrera's return to the racetrack.
Might have also been a little strategic call there, starting 5th on this restart instead of 4th, getting the benefit of the inside line, not have to fight anybody to kind of get down and into what's been the predominant line for these restarts and into turn 1 is that inside line. So maybe a little bit of gamesmanship and giving up a spot to get on the preferred line.
Yeah, and so it looks like, from what I said earlier in the race, there being 3 lines below the apron, right on the apron, or up against the guardrail. Looks like you mentioned, Daniel, the predominant line has been just above that yellow line, so you can maximize both being able to use the banking and getting a nice low line through the corners. So far, looks like Ray Lombardi going to be the first car to get back out onto the race track, and judging off of the iRacing chat, it looks like he has been waved around the pace car. So I think they are going to keep extending the caution period until everybody gets back out onto the lead lap. Kevin Irwin and Justin Barrera back out onto the track as well. They will also receive wave around. So if we go 2 to go at the line, I think they will have enough time, but if we go 1 to green, I don't know if they are going to have enough time to get their laps back. So we'll see, as there's Ray Lombardi rounding turn number 4. He will pass the field, and I think he will have more than enough time to get his lap back. But I think we are still going to be... No, we are 1 to green at the line, so Ray Lombardi might be the only driver that can catch back up to the field in time, as Kevin Irwin and Justin Barrera, I assume, still heading around the oval portion of this racetrack.
Yeah, Ray should be able to get back and tag on to the end of this this pack before the green flag, but we'll see when these other 2 drivers make their way around. They might end up extending the caution, but we didn't see that last time and earlier in this race, so we might be getting ready for a green-white checkered here.
Yeah, and it will be the first of 2 available green-white checkers, and actually something that might bring up a little bit of concern for these drivers is that with having a green-white checkered, they might not have enough fuel to finish the race. That is something that I have seen in oval racing before, where green-white checkers have led drivers to not be able to finish the race off of fuel. And that could give a little bit of concern for some of these drivers, and it might be why Josh Klog pitted there. Yes, he could have gotten to the inside, but also he could have made sure that that even with the green-white checkers, he would be able to make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, that's a good point. We with 2 green white checkers, that's a long lap of under caution, and can be quite a few laps under caution if we have some extra overtime runs. So it's a good point to bring up the fuel as they're through 3 and 4 heading to the window ring.
Yeah, and it looks like one car is caught up to the field again. There's Ray Lombardi and his Radical. He has made it. I don't think Kevin Irwin and Justin Barrera will be as lucky to have another shot, as Ray Lombardi has rejoined the field successfully. So he will have a shot tonight, and we'll see if Kevin Irwin and Justin Barrera have enough speed to catch up to the field before they accelerate. But the iRacing safety car are going to dive into the pit lane for the 6th time tonight as we await the green flag for the first of 2 green-white checkers. Bobby Ross foot to the floor, and we're racing once again from Monza. So it looks like still side by side, Adam Thompson and Tim Cox trying to do something up there. As Jimmy Howard doesn't really have too much help aside from Bobby Ross in front of him. So Tim Cox trying to push Adam Thompson, too much room there for that to be effective. But Adam Thompson getting a nice run. Bobby Ross going to try and block him, and it will work. Is Bobby Ross going to be pushed by Adam Thompson? Now Jimmy Howard going to stick it out on the inside lane, trying to get some momentum down there.
Yeah, that was the best best restart by an outside lane that we've seen so far, with Adam Thompson being able to benefit and take over second. But 2 wide behind 2 leaders, and they're heading into 3 and 4. Looks like a big run by Jimmy Howard on the bottom. He's going to have some help, and 3 lanes, 3 rows, 2 by 2. So you come out of 3 and 4 heading to the white flag.
Yeah, and it looks like they will make it. So we are officially on the final lap of this race. Bobby Ross, Adam Thompson, Jimmy Howard now as they head into turn number 1. Still single file. Tim Cox, the only car out of line at the moment. Adam Thompson going to stick it to the inside, though. He'll take the lead as they head through turns number 1, as through turns 1 and 2. Josh Clark going to go around. That's a massive wreck for him. That's going to take him out of contention. I think Ray Lombardi was in that as well, or it looks like he was a little bit of a part of it, so that's going to take him out of this race. It's a 4-car race to the finish as they head down the back straightaway for the final time.
Yep, Adam Thompson leading Jimmy Howard. Tim Cox right behind him in 3rd. They're nose to tail. We'll see what kind of move that Jimmy Howard might make on Adam Thompson, or if Adam Thompson can hold him off. If they still go through 3 and 4, nose to tail. Bobby Ross, he's starting to get loose.
There he goes! Contact with Tim Cox. Tim is clear into the lead. No room for anybody else to come around. Tim Cox will win at Monza. Bobby Ross 2nd, Adam Thompson 3rd, Jimmy Howard in 4th, Ray Lombardi 5th. Tim Cox gets his first career XSLR win from the Monza Oval. And he was once my fellow commentator up here, and now he finds himself in victory lane in the actual series. Tim Cox, your winner, after it looked like Adam Thompson and Jimmy Howard got into it a little bit. Jimmy tried to make a move to the outside, and it looked like he net-coded Adam a little bit, which got him loose. Jimmy couldn't do anything with his run as Adam Thompson tried to come up to block, and then Adam did not pay attention to the number 340 car that came to the inside and swooped around him for the lead of that race. Bobby Ross followed him as well to take a P2 there. Adam Thompson ends up 3rd. What a win for the 340 team.
Wow, that was another brilliant finish in this series. But I would not have picked Tim Cox to come out of that unscathed as we were watching him through 3 and 4. He was 3rd in line, though. Sometimes it's best to be 2nd, and some days it's best to be 3rd. And today it was a good day to be 3rd in that line as we get a chance to look at the results now.
Yeah, Tim Cox with a final corner win over Bobby Ross, who finishes 2nd. Adam Thompson has to defect to 3rd. Jimmy Howard in 4th. Ray Lombardi recovers from a last lap incident to finish 5th. Kevin Irwin ends up in 6th as Josh Klong lost a lot of spots after taking a wild ride on the last lap there to finish 7th. Justin Barrera in 8th, and Chance Aarons gave up his opportunity after one of those wrecks and finishes 9th at the end of the day. As we wait for some drivers to trickle into the waiting rooms, Daniel, I believe you are on standby with the league owner and 3rd place finisher Adam Thompson.
Yep, I got Adam Thompson here, and Adam, it looked like you were in a good spot in that last lap, coming to the line, leading through turn 3 and 4. Kind of what happened there and cost you a couple spots.
You guys may be able to tell me, but nonetheless, I made it to the end. Don't know how we saved it. I saw a white flag came out, and I saw some headlights spinning behind me. And then coming out of turn 4, got a bit of a nudge and held on to it. Saw Tim and Bobby go flying by on the inside, but I was able to hold on enough to keep it in 3rd. And right now, I think my biggest thing is just trying to regain some points to get back up there with those guys.
Yeah, still a solid points day, bringing home P3, and yeah, it looks like you might have had a little help from Jimmy Howard on that and allowed the inside lane to get by you. But yeah, that was quite a race. What being the league owner, what compelled you to put this type of race on?
So, as you guys know, these first 8 races, we go from oval to road and back and forth, right? So this time it was the Monza oval, and we could have decided to go left, but we decided to make it go right, just because. And it was interesting. It was a lot of fun, more fun than I thought it would be. We just tried to keep everybody up there in the pack. There was only 7 of us. Yeah, it got pretty intense there. That obviously the start was really bad. Had some good green flag runs. Had some great side-by-side battles. It turned, I think you guys again can tell me, but I think it may have been the best oval race we've had this season. But moving on to Monza combined with no chicanes, so we're going to be running it again next weekend. And that's probably going to be just as much, if not more fun.
Yeah, we have not had a bad oval race this season, so a great decision on the schedule there. And anybody you like to thank?
Well, I want to thank you, Daniel, Alex, Jonathan, for hanging in there and producing on 7 cars. I want to thank anybody watching, and anybody that is watching or wants to join, please do so. You can go to the Cross Series League Racing website, or not the Cross Series League Racing website, the Cross Series League Racing, the Cross Series League Racing Facebook, and you'll see a Discord join link there. Get linked up and join the Discord and see if it's for you. We've obviously got one more race in the Radicals, and that's going to be Monza combined, no chicanes. Then we're moving on to the Dirt Road and the Pro 2 lights. Go ahead, Alex. Sorry, I heard you talking.
It was 9 cars, so I'm smarter than you.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, before we get into in this booth here, we'll say bye to Adam and Alex. I think you have our 2nd place finisher, Bobby Ross.
I sure do. And Bobby, welcome to the broadcast booth. You followed Tim Cox to the inside after an unfortunate incident between Jimmy Howard and Adam Thompson that costed them a little bit of time. How's it feel?
Whew, man, that was a chaotic race. I went from 4th place down to 9th place, was out of the draft, came back in the draft, found myself in the lead, choked the lead, had a huge run at the end, and in the end, finished 2nd place. That was an amazing race. Not bad for 2nd place. I probably gained a little bit on the points leader, so still a long season to go. Let's see what happens on from here.
It definitely looked like a chaotic race from up here, but it looked like it was quite a lot of fun. As you were all over the place that race. You were leading at one point, then next thing I know you're dead last, and the next thing I know on the white flag you're up there in the mix with the leaders, and you were able to scoop up a 2nd place. But one thing that I was a little bit concerned about, and I do want to know, was there ever the concern of not making it to the end of the race on fuel if the 2nd green-white checker had to be used?
If the 2nd checker flag, I might have been sputtering on the... probably coming out of turn 4. had that been the case on the last lap. But hey, in the end, it all worked out, and I'll take a podium any day.
Yeah, because I have seen oval races end like that where people have had to pit on green white checkers because they can't make it to the end of the race, but you were able to avoid something like that, and you were able to take second at the end of the day. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Oh, of course. I would like to thank my mom, Vicky Ross, my brother, Michael Ross. Those two are my biggest supporters. Justin Perry, Elliot Tobias, those are my best buds. And also this morning, I want to give a huge shout out to my teammate and co-driver, RC Rigdon. We took place in the BMW Sim Sports Challenge, or the series. It was the first race today at Daytona, and we ended up finishing 4th place in the GT3 class. So huge shout out to him. And and of course, Risa Racing for allowing me to represent them in this series.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So if you are, to leave it at that, I'm going to, if you're doing the next races, I'm going to bid you good luck in the next races, the BMW Cup. I'm not sure what the full name is. I want to run it, honestly, but I just don't really have the time at the moment. So good luck in that if you are running all the subsequent races from here. And we'll see you next week from Monza, but it's not going to be the Grand Prix circuit. It's not going to be the oval. It's going to be combined, no chicane. So that'll be an interesting race, Bobby. Hopefully you can overcome the odds there, and we'll see you back up here then.
Thank you, Alex, and thank you to Slow Motion Broadcasting as always.
Thank you. And that was Bobby Ross, your second place finisher from tonight. And Daniel, I believe you are on standby with our race winner, Tim Cox.
Yep, I caught up with Tim Cox here, and first off, congratulations on sealing the win. That last lap pass, that was incredible. Walk us through that from your viewpoint.
Well, I was saying to Bobby, I didn't want him to win. So coming on to that last lap, I worked with Jimmy and Adam to push them through. I looked all comfortable, and I saw Bobby just back off a little bit. I knew coming into that final turn that when you get the run on people, even if you're not being pushed, the overspeed that you can carry would probably allow him to get onto the podium, and I was going to fall off. So I decided at the last second to head down low, and then the overspeed I was carrying just shot me past everyone and carried me to the victory.
Yeah, well, that was an exciting move there, and you definitely deserve that after holding up and staying up toward the front on this race. So, any strategy that you used to stay up there?
Just pushing. It was the only way. As soon as you around here, it's bad enough on overs anyway, but around here, as soon as you fall off the draft, it's an absolute nightmare. And it was even more so around here due to the amount of bumps in the road. It's like the old Daytona. It's so ridiculously bumpy around the oval. But it just goes to show Brett beat all the Americans. Normally I'd say turning left, but turn right tonight. But I beat them on the oval, yes. So it feels good.
Daniel, I don't mean to steal your interview, but I think your advantage tonight might have been that usually the Brits are better at turning right, and the Americans better at turning left. So I think you might have had, you probably had a little bit of an advantage there. You guys are better at turning right.
Turning right, and the steering wheel is on the correct side of the car as well. It was win-win. It was and we're in Europe. We're in Europe as well. The stars were aligning, so it had to be done. I didn't think it was going to be possible. But it all came together, and it's just literally that run to the line. And I think it got a little bit lucky where I just nudged Jimmy before I moved down low, and then he nudged Adam, and they got a bit squirrely, which made it a bit more easier and gave me a bit more of a clearer run than probably would have been if they'd managed to stay aligned and pushed each other all the way to the line.
Yeah, that was definitely some bobbles going on there, and it was Larry out there. It was just holding on for dear life the whole way round, praying you didn't get collected at any stage. And I did think with Bobby that when he pitted in the very, very first caution, which we had right at the start, where we were just talking about it in the interview, the waiting room, where Ray I thought we all thought he'd gone, and then had to check up. But from what Bobby was saying, Ray was just waiting to the line, and that's what caused Justin to get in the back of me and sent us all spinning at the start, which wasn't exactly the ideal start you want to have. But
well, from that point, being dead last, the only way's up, and well, went all the way up to the top.
Well, definitely made it all the way back up to the top. So, any sponsors? Anybody you'd like to thank?
Well, yeah, just thank the usual. Good old Jeans Bowl, and well, I threw my keys in the bowl for it and went for it, and that's it.
Well, congratulations again on picking up your win. I believe it's your first win of this season, so congratulations on that, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Definitely.
All right, Alex, I'll throw it back to you, kind of bring us home. But that was an exciting race there, right at the end, too, especially.
Yeah, that was an absolutely incredible race to watch. Honestly, I think that was my favorite race from this season in the XSLR Championship. So congrats to all the drivers for giving us a great show to cover and giving the viewers a nice show to watch at home. But looks like that is going to be it for us. Let's see if we have any upcoming broadcasts to read off for tonight. See if we can get any word on that, but if not, I believe we're waiting on our producer, Jonathan Grabowski. He's trying to grab something for us real fast, but that was just absolutely insane race, and I gotta be honest, I did not expect him to take the win there. That was absolutely incredible to watch, and it was such a great move performed by him, especially after Adam Thompson and Jimmy Howard starting to get a little bit squirrely there off turn 4.
Yeah, just right place at the right time for him, and able to bring it home. So yeah, that was exciting. I had some crazy finishes to this race this season, and that was definitely up there.
Yeah, so looks like now we have an upcoming broadcast coming up for you tonight. This Tuesday, February 7th at about 8:45 p.m. EST, the WSRL series returns with the LMP2 and GT3 cars from Fuji International Speedway. Going to be a great show to watch for them. And then on that same Tuesday, February 7th at 9 p.m. EST, the American Muscle Series returns once again with the Ford Mustang FR500s from Brands Hatch. Great and famous track there. You're not going to want to miss that. And then this upcoming Thursday, February 9th at 9:15 p.m. EST, the Spec 5 World Tour returns once again after an incredible round at Suzuka to bring us another round of their championship with the Mazda Miata MX-5 Cup cars from Canadian Tire, also known to many as Mosport. And then, about a week from now, Sunday, January 12th at 8:10 p.m. EST, the Radical SR8s of the Cross Series League Racing Championships, or the Cross Series League Racing Championship, will return from Monza. It's not going to be the oval. It's not going to be the normal Grand Prix layout. It's going to be the Monza combined circuit that they used to run in the 40s. And we aren't going to have the chicane, so they're going to be going straight through the first chicane and the second chicane. They will use a Ascari, but that first and second chicane aren't going to be there. So Monza combined with no chicanes next week for the Cross Series League Racing Championship. That'll take place at 8:10 p.m. EST on Sunday, January 12th. But for now, that is going to do it for us. My name is Alex Andersen. I'm joined in the commentary booth by Daniel Hall, Jonathan Grabowski in our virtual production truck, and from the Monza Oval. Have a good night.
Not. So Patrick, do we describe this for everybody, Rob?
What?
You
What?
describe it. You describe it. I
What?
do enough talking.
I think any car's dead in iRacing. I think it's gone.
Oh, it's definitely. I agree. It's not going to survive much, but I still think we'll find opportunities to race it, just not as fruitful as before. some of your like some of them just want to like make. What's the thing? Like that guy wanted to make like dolls out of Tyler's hair, but then there's just other guys who are just like. He did. He would say weird things to Tyler, man. Like he was a strange guy. And then like other guys would just show up and he's like, "Oh, we never met you? Sure, come race this 24 with us." And then you just jump in the car and wreck us out in a lap and be like, "Okay, never see you again."
Yeah, that
like,
was
okay. Well, better luck next year, I guess.
That was the guy from.